Hi everyone, in this video I will compare my two submissions for Sheridan's animation program. Although my score is not really high, but if you're applying to the same program, seeing how I improve can be very helpful. Let's start with a little about myself. My name is Mei. I'm from China. In 10th grade, I came to Canada with my family. After high school, I studied in OCAD for 1 year and went to Sheridan in September 2021. I graduated from high school in 2020. At that time, I didn't have a clear vision about my future career. I only knew that I want to study art in the future because my brain just doesn't work in any other subject. I applied to lots of art programs including Sheridan Animation and Illustration, Seneca Animation, OCAD Illustration, and Drawing and Painting. Each program has a specific portfolio requirement, so I was overwhelmed by the workload that I put myself into. None of them turned out with a high quality because I couldn't put my full time and energy into one portfolio. Luckily, I got the offer from OCAD Drawing and Painting and Seneca Animation. And I chose OCAD Drawing and Painting because I thought I like drawing and I like painting. Let's just get into drawing and painting. But finally, I realized that it's a program for fine artists, so I just don't really enjoy the environment. I'm more interested in concept designs and animation, so I reapplied to Sheridan Animation and luckily, I got in. Compared to OCAD, I enjoy the courses here more because all of them are what I'm interested in, and it feels so good to study with peers who has the same interests and goals as you. It's really about figuring out personal interests, and fine art is just not for me. Finally, my personality. I'm slow in everything I do. I'm slow in getting close to people. I'm slow in drawing. I suck at sports that require speed. My reaction time is super long. I'm just a turtle. But I guess it's okay because slow and steady wins the race. I got 81% for my first submission and 90% for my second submission. In the rest of this video, I will give you some suggestions about each section of the portfolio and elaborate on the upsides and downsides of my drawings. I'm still not professional, so please take my words as a reference. No matter how close you are to the deadline, if you haven't started figure drawing, just start now. If you don't have any experience, start going to figure drawing sections. While it is the best to draw from life, due to this world situation we have, it might not be possible for some people to access. So figure drawing websites is an alternative. I personally use this website called Line of Action. It allows you to choose time and subject to draw. You can also practice drawing hands and expressions here. I know there are similar websites, but this is the one that I like the most. Please recommend some if you know any other options. I believe some people use pencil and sketchbook for their portfolio figure drawing, and it works, but I think the best medium is content and newsprint. They are also the most commonly used in school life drawings. For the short poses, try to choose more dynamic poses. If the judges see you drawing a model standing straight, it is likely that they will think you can't draw people in motion. Be sure to move fast and feel the weight and movement of the model as you draw. It is really helpful to see how the master draw before starting your own drawing. I got 8 out of 10 for figure drawing for the first try. Looking at it now, the points might be lost because of what I addressed, lack of dynamic poses. They were either sitting or standing. I like this drawing, but it was definitely not finished in 3 minutes. It's longer. Short poses should not have shading, and I even had the time to draw props. So always mark the time of your drawing on the paper in case you forget. In this pose, the feet is not in the right place. It makes her look unbalanced. In longer poses, I added shading because I enjoyed it. It's not bad, but showing structure is more important in this part. In the second portfolio, I have a more variety of poses. However, there are small things to fix, such as the attachment of arm to the body, and some actions can be more defined with a few indications of lines. Like in this pose, you can't see clearly that the hand is holding the gun. In longer poses, the problem of lines is more severe than short ones. You can see that I was having multiple tries just to get the line on the right place. So if you're not really confident, start with a light sketch to have a foundation. Then get those confident lines on top of it. This will increase the clarity and accuracy of your drawing. For hand drawing, I started with taking reference pictures with my own hand. Try different angles and different ways you would approach the required action and see which one works the best. Pay attention to the consistency of the two poses. Consider it as two keyframes of an animation. In my first submission, I lost 2 points for the section. I think it's because I didn't show the structure and the movement is a little awkward. I had too much shading, the focus should be on motion and structure. I got a full mark for the second submission. You can see it becomes more gestural, the motion is more dynamic, I showed structure lines, and the action is consistent. I still used a little shading just to create a sense of form, and don't forget to draw the wrist. Character rotation is the most contradictory part for me. I like designing characters but always lose lots of marks on it. For my first submission, I made a huge mistake that I submitted 2 profile views and no 3/4 views. This is to deal with my organization. My dad told me to never tell anybody about this because no one will hire me anymore. Like I might end up accidentally delete a whole film, but I just need to share this with you guys. This is the most absurd thing that's ever happened to me, so don't be like me. Organize your files correctly and submit it carefully. I'm not sure what the score will be if I have submitted the right files, but I can see some mistakes. The keyring is so intricate to draw. I might change the design so it won't create too much tangents. She's weirdly leaning forward like a Michael Jackson dance. The rotation of her shoes is obviously out of place and her face doesn't look consistent from the first to second direction. The second entry is not good either. I lost 2 points. If time travel exists, I would find the old me who's starting to do the rotation and knock on her head and tell her to design a new character. The bending body and the legs and the digression of the feet, and the cape, and the paper he's holding were too much for me to rotate. I like this character, but it's out of my ability to create a rotation. The angle of the cape and the 3/4 back view of the body turned out weird. In conclusion, I like character design but not rotation because I can't do it. So if your brain works like mine, just create something simple to reduce the difficulty for rotation. For short animation, the judges want to see your ability to bring something into life. Each year they give you a different animation object in rectangular shape, which is simple to animate. This year we have a cute thumb drive. In this section, show your understanding of the principles of animation, for example, squash and stretch, timing and staging, to make your animation interesting and believable. Check out this video that explains all of them. The animation is limited within 24 to 48 frames, so don't make it complicated. I lost lots of points in this section in my first portfolio submission. There are lots of problems with this animation. First, the movement is not believable. Basically, the juice box is trying to do a kick to get up. But the kick is not powerful enough that you cannot feel the sense of gravity stopping it from getting up. It would be better if it can move around the canvas more with a larger kick and jump and struggle a bit to get up. Also, each year's object contains a part that's attached to the body, which is for you to create secondary animation. I didn't do anything with the straw, so that's another reason that I lost points. I improved a lot in my second submission that I got 14 points. The story is the walkie-talkie gets scared by something and escapes. Compared to the first one, the squash and stretch and staging improved. I paid attention to the secondary action of the wire and added signal lines to show it's scared. However, the movements were a bit too much that you might not be able to see what is going on. You can see lots of twists and turns when it's in mid-air, which can be reduced but still tell the story. So don't forget the clarity of your action while animating. Storyboard is the scariest to lots of people, but it can also be fun. Tell a simple and clear story, use various of camera angles, expressions, and poses as your story proceeds, but make sure to stick with the given model sheet in case you end up with a different character when the story ends. I really like my first storyboard. The story runs pretty smoothly within the panels. The composition of each panel brings attention to the right place. In that year, the theme was Don't Judge a Book by its cover. I came up with the story of a piggy ice cream shop that sells ugly but extremely yummy ice creams. I set up the scene in first panel with a medium long shot to show the location and the characters of the story. It is important to set up the background in first scene to tell the audience what's approximately going on. In second panel, I drew an over-the-shoulder shot to show Possum's reaction to the gross-looking ice cream. A close-up in third panel for the lick action and his unwillingness to try it. And lastly, an upshot to show the ice cream is heavenly tasty. I think the points were lost on the second panel that it breaks the 180-degree rule, which is a rule in film industry for camera placement. When filming two characters talking, the camera should only move within the half circle on one side of the line that crosses them. So clearly the camera placement in second panel breaks the rule. I lost 3 points for storyboard in my second try. My story is an arrogant sprinter who cares too much about his shoes that he misses the start of the race. I think the subject was a little complicated for the story to be told within 4 panels because of the stadium and the track that needs to be presented and the other sprinters needed in contrast to the main character. The perspective is awkward in the last panel. The camera were not positioned in the most effective way that the story is not fluently told. If I could do it again, I would consider changing my story and let it take place in the smaller space with less characters. There are 2 parts of the perspective line drawings, one interior and one exterior. In this section, make sure to use some tools to help you with perspective. In first tier, I extended the paper and stick one line on each vanishing point and use them as my guide. Some digital programs like Procreate has the perspective drawing guide feature, which is very helpful for this particular section. Design the character first, then create a world for them. My character here is a mad scientist, so I placed many scientific instruments with body parts in his lab. Some tools that has just been extracted and scratch mark left on the chair from people he tortured. In the second submission, the concept is a girl trying to survive in an abandoned train carriage in the middle of a wild forest. It was very fun to draw, but the details could be simplified. Although most shapes in natural environment is organic, a sense of perspective is also needed to be shown. Don't forget to use the guidelines same as the indoor layout. The requirement in 2020 was to draw with a bird eye view for the exterior, so I added another vanishing point at the bottom. You may see it through the straight lines of the tree houses. In the second portfolio, the detail is a little overwhelming, which might be the reason why I lost a point. Our layout teacher said that the detail is like spices in cooking. Add a little to increase the flavor, but don't add too much or it will ruin the dish. Too much details can distract the viewer's eyes that the main focus is lost. I lost 2 points for personal art in each submission. The majority of my work were related to illustration. The judges need to see your interest in animation and they expect to see more work like concept design, character designs, and comics you draw for your own interest. They want to see your passion in animation and your potential to become a better artist in the industry. So elaborate painting is not the best choice for this section. Also, the judges are already tired of line works after seeing the previous sections, so please don't include more than one black and white piece. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video is helpful to you. I'll put the websites and channels I mentioned down in the description.